Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for coming in. I'm going to get started because I really want to be conscious of our virtual attendees who have joined us. Thank you for coming in and spending some time with me after lunch. I'm excited to be here. There's been a lot of conversations at this conference around inclusion and diversity, and it's something that's very near and dear to the core of Expedia Group's heart. And I'm going to talk a little bit about how we've gone through the journey and how we've started including it within our own marketing, as well as how we can help our advertising partners start including it into their own marketing, and sort of a philosophy about the continuous, authentic way we do it versus sort of a one and done. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Derek Price. I'm the Director of Business Development for Expedia Group Media Solutions. I live in Fort Lauderdale, but I have a really diverse team across the country. And I'm very lucky that I get to work with a lot of very rich and diverse destinations around North America. Expedia Group Media Solutions is a two-sided marketplace. And so what that means is that we are a media platform that sits on top of a travel retail site. So we have a really unique ability to actually connect you advertisers with millions of shoppers as they're in that journey from discovery and research and dreaming all the way down to making a booking. And so how you engage with those customers and the imagery that you use and the language that you use in your marketing really has a huge impact into the decisions they make. It's super important that we do this now. I don't think I need to tell you that. We've seen it and we've heard it this week. People are making decisions based on the values that they feel the companies that they're dealing with have, and they are making decisions based on what they see in the imagery from the destinations or the accommodations. So I think this is a really smart time to get moving. I'm sorry it took what it did last year to get us to this place, but I'm glad we're here. We are a data and research heavy company. I love that part of my role. I get to talk about that. We have expanded what we are doing into talking to our customers and what's important, and also leveraging our partners' research, and I'll talk a little bit about that in a minute. But we have surveyed customers over the last year and asked them what's important, and 2 out of 3 consumers said they are going to book through a company that shares their values and has a diverse and inclusive mentality. They are going to book accommodations and go to destinations that have the same values. This is super important. We have not released this yet, so I recommend we will hunt you down if you take a picture of this image. We will be sending it out next, I want to say by the end of the month. But we asked customers, why are you doing? What are the actions you're going to take? And almost 2/3 of them said, we are going to make a decision and book a hotel that is actively involved in focusing on the diversity and inclusion within their marketplace. So they're really doing a lot of research, and this is super prevalent within the younger generation. So if you think about the Gen Z and the millennials out there, over 75% of that generation is making conscious decisions based on these actions that companies are taking right now. And some of the not so young generation, the Gen Xer and the boomers, over half of them are saying the same thing. So there's an evolution in why people are making decisions. I'm going to talk about this a couple times. The disability or the accessibility nature of your marketplace also plays a big role. I'm going to show you an example. How often are we using imagery that represents people that have mobility challenges? Yet most of our destinations have access or have really great resources, but if the customer doesn't know it, they're not going to come. And the only way we can tell them is through imagery and messaging. At Expedia Group, we made a conscious decision a couple years ago that diversity and inclusion is going to be a focus and a core value. We have recently, with our new leadership out of Seattle, we now have a dedicated diversity and inclusion officer who reports directly to our CEO. And his team is actively involved engaging our employee group, our partners, and our customers to make sure that we are doing what is right for all of the underserved market communities within our own employee group. We are going out there and asking questions because we know, and we talk about this, for years we've talked about how travel creates memories. Travel educates people on new cultures and diverse communities, and we have an opportunity to help that process from the ground up. We also know that our customers want to feel safe when they're traveling, and they also want to be informed and are making decisions based on authentic actions that advertisers are taking. One of the ways that we do this within our own organization is we have 8 incredible employee resource groups that represent age, represent mobility, veterans, gender, sexual orientation, ethnicity. And these are not just groups for employees to talk about how we're going to work internally. These now are resource groups for our leadership team. We are making conscious decisions based on conversations we are having with these groups on how we actually not only form our internal policies, but how are we going to position ourselves to our customers. And they are an incredible group made up of our global employee base and allies for those groups. I think it's one of the most amazing things to have such a robust and engaged employee group that now is affecting what we are doing and putting in front of our customers. Like our employees, we have a very diverse group of brands. I'm not going to talk about all of them, but one of the nice things is many of these brands are making conscious decisions in changing their philosophies and how are they putting themselves out to our customer base. I've worked for many of these before Expedia bought them, so I decided, I'll just stick around, I'll stay. I have a nice desk with a window. Orbitz is one of the companies I used to work for. We were small and mighty. I don't know if many of you will remember, Orbitz started as an airline website created by, I think, Northwest and a couple others. But they've had a really long and great history with the LGBTQA community, almost 20 years of support. And they have reaffirmed their support and involvement in this community. They have put together an amazing campaign, and actually talk about the portal in a minute, about travel as you are. And we want to make sure people are getting to where they want to go, feeling safe and having a good time, however they are. And so I want to show you the video.
You don't own me. I'm not just one of your many toys. You don't own me. Don't say I can't go with other boys. And don't tell me what to do. Don't tell me what to say. And please, when I go out with you, you don't own me. Don't tie me down, 'cause I never stay. I don't tell you what to say. So just let me be myself, to say and do whatever I please.
I love that video, and I think one of the things that I didn't notice at first, but we were also conscious about who we included in the video. And if you think about races and genders and colors and people, it was really representative of the entire community. And I talk about that a little later, about when you're talking about the imagery you use, make sure you're doing it from multiple perspectives. Orbitz also, like all of our brands, has made a conscious decision. This is not one and done. We have incorporated the imagery and the comments and the text through everything we do, from social to email to other images to our blog posts. And it really is a complete story. And it's a holistic philosophy that we now have, not just a marketing campaign. The other thing that we did, we realized, and through our research, that the LGBT community still is out there, And being safe and feeling accepted is still the exception, not the rule. So we have created a hub where they can come and find hotels that we have worked with and have signed the pledge of inclusivity. And it's not just a hotel that says, yes, they can come and we won't question what bed type they want, but it is, we are involved in the community, we are serving the community, and this is a pledge that we are making so your customers can come and feel safe. And I think this is an amazing thing that Orbitz is doing. For those of you who happened to go to our Insight Summit on Tuesday, this is a video we showed. It's an incredible video. Verbo went to John Legend and said, we want to reach people of color. We want to reach multi-generational families, and we'd love to have your help. And so they created this campaign, and again, it talks about inclusivity. We're also going to talk about other types of diverse and inclusive communities that are represented in this video, but I want you to watch this and I dare you not to get emotional.
Try it. Okay, go ahead. One finger. Here we go.
I can see clearly now the rain is gone. I can see all obstacles in my way. Gone are the dark clouds that had me blind. It's gonna be a bright, sunshiny day. It's gonna be a bright, sunshiny day. Hey, look all around, there's nothing but blue skies. Yeah, if you look straight ahead, there's nothing but sunshiny day.
I love that commercial. It's really important to notice everybody was included. One of the things I'm going to talk about a little bit later, I love that we included an image of somebody in a wheelchair, engaged and involved and having a good time, because we don't see that very often. And I think that's really an important thing to include when you're talking to customers, because they need to see themselves in the images and in the place where they want to go. Like Orbitz, the approach is not one and done. They continue the messaging. They continue the multi-generational. They include the people that we want them to feel included. It's such an incredible thing. When this video came out, we showed it internally. And nobody talked for like 3 minutes and just absorbed it. And I started thinking about the trips I took with my grandmother and how I would have loved to do that and surprise her. So I love this. Travelocity is another company that I worked for. spent many years, it's an amazing amount of time. The roaming gnome, for those of you who know him, is a great supporter for families and multi-generational families. And we have done a lot of work around our Latinx community. This is a funny ad. This is a multi-generational Latin family that have booked a room, walked into it, and found something that they weren't quite expecting.
En internet se veía más grande. Algún día encontraremos el viaje perfecto.
Algún día es hoy con Travelocity. Encuentra la información que necesitas para reservar con confianza. ¿Alguien ronca? Traje mis tapones de oídos por si acaso. Travelocity. Algún día es hoy.
I don't know if any of you realize the voice of the gnome is a British guy. And so we actually spent a lot of time teaching him how to speak Spanish in local dialects. And I think that's one of the other interesting things when we're talking about translation and again about communities around ethnicity and race, where other languages are involved, making sure that the translation is localized to where you're running the media. Standard Spanish may not be the right version or the right dialect of Spanish if we're not running it in Spain. So that's important things to think about. And it's not always stuff that's top of mind, but I think they've done it really, really well. So the other thing that we have is the conscious decision to include it in everything specifically. And we're now going to talk how do we do that within marketing and within our advertising. The research that we've done has shown a lot of things, and I talked about this earlier. 64% of the surveyed people said that they are going to take an action after they've seen an ad where diversity and inclusion is included. This is super important. They're actually engaging with ads because of what they're seeing. 69% of the Black travelers that we surveyed said that they are more likely to purchase from a brand whose advertising positively reflects their race and ethnicity. That positively reflects is something I'm going to talk about. And then within our LGBTQ plus community, 71% said, I want to see somebody within my sexual orientation in the media, or I'm not going to feel as comfortable making that decision. And then our partners with MMGY did a study last year around the US Black traveler. And again, 54% of these people surveyed said that they will more likely visit a destination where they see Black representation in the advertising. Super important. I've talked about imagery, and we have to be thoughtful about it. It's about representing from various perspectives and include diversity within the diverse group you're talking about. It includes races, it includes genders, it includes ages and families and couples and singles and what activities are available and the ability. I love the fact that the Verbo ad, I can't talk about it enough. I love that there was somebody in a wheelchair so engaged at the same level. It's not what we think about. And avoid using the stereotypes. We want to make sure that who we are representing are in a position of power. I think that's important. They want to see themselves enjoying the destination. I wanted to point out a couple of creative examples of our partners and what they're doing on site. One of the ones that I want to talk about is, this is not very unusual for a hotel, but Disney, their primary ad is of a wheelchair accessible room. They made a conscious decision that they wanted that this customer knew that they could get a room that would be easily to get in and out of. They could use the shower. That's not the typical image that we use when we are promoting a hotel, especially the Disneyland Hotel. And words matter. Respectful words, welcoming words. We want to call out amenities for travelers of all backgrounds, and all abilities, and all genders. And reviews. I know you all deal with reviews. Responding respectfully in a timely manner to make sure you're heading off those potential negative storylines. I'm going to highlight this. So I just was able to go to one of the CEO breakout sessions, and Martha from Boston was speaking about this. An incredible program that the city of Boston has done around the new generation of diverse entrepreneurs and innovators in the city, including artists, in a city that is incredibly diverse, but traditionally has not always shown that to our customers. And that Boston is now a city, and it is all inclusive. It's just amazing what they're doing in Boston. And then my hometown, I love living in Fort Lauderdale. That team has done such an amazing job of making everyone feel welcome. It has been a mainstay in the LGBT community for years. They continue to innovate, they continue to evolve, and their campaign around everybody is welcome under the sun, and they mean everyone. And they've done such a great job. Travel Pulse recently named Fort Lauderdale one of the top 4 destinations for the LGBT community post-COVID, and the marketplace is just incredible. And Stacy and the team at Visit Lauderdale are doing such a great job. And then I'm going to go back and talk a little bit about ability consumers and who they are, and they are one of the marketplaces that we don't pay attention to. Visit Tampa Bay is doing an incredible program around this, and they actually have an ambassador who actually takes people on virtual tours of the Tampa Bay in her wheelchair. And what a great way to engage that consumer, which represents a huge population of travelers that want to enjoy destinations as much as everybody else does. So we need to be able to highlight what they can do, what accommodations have. We need to include them in video like the Verbo ad. We want to be able to, for those people who potentially can't hear, we need to make sure that our videos include closed caption or subtitles. Use change of fonts to make things easier to read. I mean, these are things that we consciously need to start thinking about. Making Tracks is an incredible company that is specifically targeting that ability consumer around actually adventure travel. What a great thing to think about. And they are actually doing their own program and creating a new adaptive experiences for travelers of all varying abilities. They're creating a benchmarking program for products like this. And I want to show you an ad, hopefully. Is it going to work? Maybe I won't. Well, that's a shame. Okay. What's that? Okay. Thirty more seconds. That's a bummer. I don't want to keep you, so let's if they can figure it out, we'll play it at the end. I've only got one more video. So I want to close this off. I know that I haven't taken the full 45 minutes. Hopefully you were appreciative of that. But I want to talk about some of the key takeaways as you start thinking about your media plans. If you are already in the process or are starting the process, leverage research and insights that your partners have. There is so much out there. Find somebody that has it, bring it in from different perspectives so you can actually create a strong strategic plan. Consider how you're doing it and be authentic about it and be continuous. Don't just sort of do one thing and then move on. Make sure it becomes part of your core values. And don't just create a media plan. Be part of the communities that you're attracting. Get involved with your local communities. We learned that during COVID that all of a sudden we needed to be engaged with our communities much more. Do that with all of these underserved marketplaces. I think this is a really key thing to do because these smaller groups, these underserved communities will talk about everything, good or bad. And if you're involved and you've created a positive engagement with them, they're going to tell their friends. And just like the Oh Well Awesome ad, they'll tell 2 friends, and they'll tell 2 friends, and they'll tell 2 friends, and business will be spectacular. I'm going to end with a fantastic ad from I will say unshamelessly my favorite airline because they have Fresca. It's the small things. But Delta has done a really great job of highlighting their global customer and the global communities that they serve.
Sometimes our differences seem big. Sometimes our differences seem small. Sometimes it seems we don't share much at all. But take a broader perspective. The more you go out and see this world of ours, you'll find that our similarities are just as remarkable as our differences. In Delta's 300 cities around the globe, we've seen it's less what language you speak or what you believe in. It's who shares the same goal, that of trying to move us all forward. Aboard the biggest flight of all.
I think it's done in such a great way. I want to thank you for your time. Thank you for having me. Take a picture of the bit.ly, scan the QR code. This has our latest traveler trend report. If you have an opportunity, join our blog list because you'll get first access to all the research we do. And again, thank you so much. Have a great day and enjoy the rest of the conference.